What's up, everybody? Happy Sunday, happy Easter. Getting my ride on, and I just wanted to do this video along with my ride about several things, honestly, because it's a crazy Sunday. Gotta tell you a crazy Bitcoin story, but I gotta talk to you about the petrodollar. Petrodollar. People don't really understand that when oil comes from certain countries, OPEC, I'm trying to give you the most basic version. When it goes back and forth between countries, they use the dollar because it's the strong dollar. It's universal. It's like English. You expect everybody to know English, but everybody doesn't. But a lot of schools teach it, okay? So petrodollar's like that, if that makes sense to you guys. But now China is like, well, we don't want to do any more trading oil with dollars. We want to do it with the yen. And some other countries in Africa, most notably Gaddafi, he ain't here no more, okay? Was like, hey, Africa can do this in gold. Why are we doing? We got minerals and all kind of stuff in our country. Why would we trade in the dollar? Okay, you see Gaddafi ain't here no more, right? Okay, then. All right, so many people have been all up in a frenzy, and you can Google this on YouTube for yourself and see where everybody's all, oh my God, the petrodollar. If they don't use dollars, then our dollar isn't that strong anymore. Here's the thing. America is feel-good America. Now, what do I mean by feel-good America? I mean that everybody still wants to be here. Let's not get it twisted. People still want to come to America. America is the shining sea on the hill. America is such a good thing. Now, many people say, well, Erica, what about these police and this and that shootings and all this stuff? Honey, 99% of your day, you could go through the whole day and not deal with certain type of people if you don't want to. And I mean, that means poor people, rich people, whoever, whatever kind of life you want to create in America, it's almost certain you could create it. And the funny thing to me, that you have the internet and people have created WorldStar, but have not found a way to get to education. See, it's a mentality thing. You're in a country where 16 and 17-year-old kids are making $100 a day on the internet by proofreading papers, editing papers, writing people's college papers, just doing all kind of work. And, you know, making up t-shirt designs, just all kind of stuff. But people will be 25, 35 and go, it's just no opportunity in this country anymore. For what? For you to have the old factory job and you get paid $20 an hour like it's 1980 and you got benefits and health care and all this stuff? That's ridiculous, people. Stop it. Those things have changed. People have changed. Now, there's another thing about the petrodollar and all this stuff. They were floating around this White House internship picture. And it's like, oh my God, it's 99% white. There's only one black kid. That's not fair. Come on, you guys. Who is going to know who's in office? Who are the current people on deck who's going to know who's in office? Now, last time Obama was in there, that is truthful. And it was like 99%. It was like one white kid. They were all black. They were all Indian or Asian. And it was all who you know. It's who do you know? And the Obamas was brown, so the interns were all brown. And the senators and the people and the, you know what I'm saying? It's a who you know type thing. And so to look on there and go, these White House interns don't reflect America. Well, who's in office right now? Like, they're going to be in there via who you know. So, you know, the things that you guys are getting heated on the internet are hilarious to me. But it proves a point. A lot of what you're seeing right now is who do you know? Now, you can get past all that with the internet. You can get all past all that if you really work really hard and put your money where you need to put it. You can get past all that. And then that's what people are missing. That's what they're missing. Now, Bitcoin madness story. Got to tell you about this Bitcoin story. So basically, a guy makes $100,000 a year. He has $170,000 in credit card debt. Guess what it's in? Bitcoin and other coins. And he says, help, I need help. Should I default on my credit cards and then just negotiate a settlement with them later? What should I do? Now, immediately, you know, I'm like, are you for real right now? Did you just use your credit cards for that? And you make $100,000 a year, and you don't own a home, and your car is 10 years old. I mean, like, the combination of what he just did is just hilarious to me. Because what it was is it's feeding into that lottery mentality, that this is a get-rich-quick scheme, that you can just hit the lottery with Bitcoin or online coins, and that's how you win. And anybody who studied history, anybody, who's made the money? The guys digging for gold or the guys selling the shovels? Right? Answer that question. Who's made the money? People digging for gold or people who sold the shovels, okay? Everybody knows the guys who had the stores built the little towns, not the drifters that came in panning for gold. Not them, okay? There is even a video from college, Adam Ruins Everything. And it's talking about how prostitution built the West. Now, people get really mad about this. I'm going to get back to Bitcoin, but prostitution, you had these brothels. You had these women who got on trains and got out to the West, and they were working in these prostitution places. And guess what? They needed security. So you got a sheriff. You got a deputy. You got all these people on staff. Okay, they needed food and supplies and stuff to come from the East Coast to keep them nice and lovely as beautiful ladies, if you want to say it that way. So that's how more stores got open. That's how, laws got passed. If you go look over out in the West, Wyoming and out in Utah, those places had women governors, women sheriffs, women, all kind of weird stuff that was happening in the 1800s, and nobody cared. Why? Because the men were always transit, moving where the work was. Was there a cave here? Was there a railroad track here? But the women stayed behind in the town. Okay? Does that make sense? The women stayed behind in those towns. So, what people don't realize is it's who's selling the shovels or selling a service that counts and that wins. I know that's a weird way to describe that, but that's the best way to do it. Like, who's selling a service is who wins, okay? And another thing on that, when people are saying, Erica, these people are coming in certain communities and they're opening stores and we're not winning. What can you provide to be of service? Don't worry about what he's doing to provide to be of service. What can you do? Can you cut yards? Can you fix things? Can you be the local handyman? Can you work with people and get payments on how to fix their houses and stuff like that? So many times people send me messages, oh, I know where this house is for $35. Well, won't you go get it? I can't afford that. Right now in Waco, Texas, I have several people blowing me up talking about how they know they got a house next door that's $35,000, and people come in town and do, Chip and Joanna Gaines style, and then sell the house for $180. Then why aren't you figuring out every single way possible to get that $35,000, or use your credit card to get it, or get loans to get it, or go to the bank, or what? Why are you not in a position where you're not fixing yourself up to at least purchase one of those houses? Waco's on TV every daggone day of the week at this point. It's really blooming. And you're calling people to be like, hey, can you give me some money on this deal? Because I can talk to these people and get them to sell you this house. Why don't they sell it to you? You know what I mean? So a lot of times, can you provide a service? People providing the service are making money, not the people who are just like, I'm going to just get rich. So anyway, back to the Bitcoin, man. Now, if this person came to me, this is what I would say. I would say, all right, you didn't dig the hole. Now, but you make $100,000 a year. Let's adjust your W-4. So you get less taxes taken out, because if you really do the math, 40% of his taxes is gone. He's really down to $60K a year, $60, $70K a year, no matter the state. I know people in Texas are like, we got different taxes. No, you don't. You got sales tax, you got road tax, you got property tax. Property tax out in Texas is higher than the whole United States. Property taxes in Texas are on average $3,500. The rest of the United States is on average $2,000. So when people come to Texas, they're like, I'm saving money on taxes. No, you're not. No, you're not. I've been here long enough. I know too many accountants. You're not saving money on taxes. What you're doing is you're getting opportunity when you come here. Okay? So let's make that clear. But what I would tell him to do is focus your income and start investing. Partner with somebody. Go buy a house. Go buy rental properties. Go get other tangible assets. Go get precious metals. Go get ammo. Go get some land. Go get everything. And yes, let these credit cards default, but let's keep it 100. The level of income you make, those credit card companies are going to ask for their money back. So you're going to be tied up in paperwork for the next 2 years, 24 months, trying to negotiate things and get things knocked off your credit. So he could just pay minimums and then just go get more tangible assets. That's correct. That's right. I got knocked off there. Now, I don't think Bitcoin's a scam per se. Like, online cryptocurrency is a wave of the future. Blockchain technology is important. But what's happening is we got some behind the scenes market manipulation. Let's just say it that way. And, there's several people who could mention and talk about that on this channel, who are in the comments usually can talk about that. But here's the kicker. Okay, so with that being said, the key to part of solving his equation and his problem is he's already making the high income money. He just made a bad choice. And here's why I'm always saying do not file for bankruptcy if you're a low income person. You filing for bankruptcy when you make $25,000 to $40,000 a year is absolutely different than a guy making $100,000 a year and he can bounce back in 2 years. He can afford to put a deposit on a place. He can afford to put extra month rent on a place to stay. He can afford to buy a car cash. He can afford to get out of this. You making $40K a year, you are dependent on credit if that's where you're at. You can save money and get you a car. You can always make more money. But that's a part of why I'm like, don't do bankruptcy. Don't do yourself that way. You know what I mean? And a lot of the studies show 3 years later, a lot of these lawyers that do it for you, they keep you on record and on file so they can call you in 3 years. Why is that? Because the average person gets back in the same level of debt, if not more, 3 years later. But now that attorney can market to you different ways, right? You know, let me help you. Let me do this credit consulting. Let me help you negotiate payments. I mean, they have a system set up. Trust me, go find some of these lawyer channels that do debt resettlement payments and all this stuff. Go really view some of what they're saying, because what they're saying is they're going to keep marketing to you because they know you have bad habits. So this guy, he's made a bad choice. He's done some bad things, but that's okay. He has high income. So what I would advise for him to do is invest in tangible assets. Point blank, period. Now, here's another thing. A lot of people call me and go, you know, I just want to get, you know, a couple properties so I can just sit down and do nothing. Where do they do that at? Life is nothing but a push. It's a push and pull. And if you ever notice old people that, you know, are walking and walking every day in the neighborhood, making their own food, you know, still active, have a pet, you know, doing stuff, their health is 100% better than the people you see at an old folks home. Now, the old people at the old folks home, they have food, they have a TV, but guess what? They're not active. They're not, you know, getting up and washing themselves in the bathtub. They're not lotioning their feet. They're not going for a walk around the street like their neighborhood like they used to. They're not chatting with the neighbors that they're familiar with. They're not being active. Now, that's an extreme example, but I'm really wanting you guys to go check out people at old folks home. It'll blow your mind. The same person that was super active 2 years ago, you put them in an old folks home, it's like they give up. And a lot of times they give those people a lot of medicine, but that's not the only reason. Same goes with your body as a active young person. And anybody under 60, I'll say, is a young active person. Just for the sake of argument, because some people on the channel will be like, well, I'm 50 years old, Erica, you don't understand. Baby, okay, I feel you. If anybody feels you, I feel you. But at the end of the day, you have to be active. Whether it's volunteering, whether it's some kind of activity, something. You know, even my mother who retired, and she's got racks on racks on racks pension. She's at 6 figures. She can do whatever she wants. She still needs to be active. So she signed up for school, take classes, keep herself out there, use that GI Bill. Use it, baby. Why not? And so the thing of it is people don't understand that you need to find some purpose. A lot of people are watching these YouTube channels trying to get rich quick so they don't have to go to work anymore and they can sit at home and play video games and chill. And that's like, you know, what's up with that? Erica, you do another drive-by? I am. But that's the thing. It's like, you have to have purpose. And many of y'all are seeking to have no purpose. And everybody I've met with a lot of money, not that they're busy, and I know people get mad at me when I talk about being busy, but they have purpose. They have drive. You know, anybody I've met that's like older man with a younger wife, he working, 1, because he got a younger wife and he got little kids. 2, he's working because he's trying to keep that body, you know, he got to keep that body moving. He can't just go sit on a couch and do nothing. That's not realistic. Somebody said get rich is my purpose is to get rich to get my freedom. For sure. Flexibility to do what you want to do. Like on this channel, a lot of times people will see me in the middle of the day walking in town, like it's a place in Austin, Texas. And I'm out there and there'll be a bunch of other people out there. Young, old, mixed, you name it. And if you ever catch some conversations with some of them, one lady, she's just an Uber driver. Her and her husband drive Uber and have a rental property. And it takes care of all their bills and they're good to go. And there she is walking in the middle of the day, just like, you know, chilling, walking. You know what I mean? And so the key here is setting up your schedule the way you want it. That's true freedom. Having the opportunity, and there's three words, and it's called like location independence, financial independence, and I forgot the other one. I think it's a blend of the two. But sometimes people are financially independent, right? They can go anywhere, they can do anything, they live in the dream. But some people are location independent, right? Now, what does location independent mean? I mean, they on the southeast, and they're living very cheaply in a house, or they live in their grandma's house they inherited and they like cleaned it up, but they really can't go many places because they don't have money like that. Do you know what I'm saying? They got enough money to kind of live good where they're at. So it's like location, which I may be flipping these, but Paula Panton talks about it. But a one in the middle is a balance. It's a balance of, let's say some of these laptop entrepreneurs want to go sit on the beach or sit in Thailand for a month in Bali all May, like everybody did last year. It was crazy. They can do that because they wiggled the wiggle room. Like, okay, I have $2,000 coming in a month from sales of my online business or various things, or a GI Bill. I know some dudes who did some things. They took school online but used their GI Bill to live overseas, which is pretty funny. But at the same time, figuring out that balance has worked for them. Okay, it has worked for them. So you have to figure out what works for you. Getting a purpose is important, and putting a timeline on it is important. Many people say, well, Erica, I just want to start a business in 30 days. I'm gonna be out of here. Like, whoa, baby, whoa, hold on now, not 30 days now, give it a minute. Anyway, so what you want to do is you want to tell them, hey, listen, nothing's wrong with your ideal. I love your ideal. I love your plan. But at the end of the day, you have to put appropriate timelines on things. And what is an appropriate timeline? An appropriate timeline is not burning yourself out, not stressing yourself out to go, okay, boom, 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 right? So a lot of times when people message me, well, Erica, what is money on tap? Money on tap is the various different ideals and different concepts you can do to make more money. And we might be adding 10 pages to it and putting the hard copy out on Amazon in the next week or so. And Smartphone Millionaires, when you're starting to get that stacks of money and you need somewhere for it to go, that's the point of the books. Together. Now, a prime example, I had a phone call and we looked up some land online together, and the land was very cheap. $2,500. That's a location freedom. If you get that, you'll put your RV out there, your camper out there, you want to do whatever you want to do, you can. See, the key here is you got to tell your money where to go. And if you don't tell your money where to go, and hence that's why I made the Smartphone Millionaire book, if you don't tell your money where to go, then you're just running and spinning yourself out. You're tired. I respond to people all the time, so night and day, and people are like, man, Erica, when do you go to sleep? When I want to. I go work out, I go walk at 2 in the afternoon, I go do what I want because I have that freedom, you know. I might go do a month in Italy, and I'm being careful about that. But it's because I've set it up in a way that if certain people need to call me on this side of this company over here, it's got to be an emergency because I'm just checking over bills and making follow-up phone calls. If y'all calling me over on this side, it's a certain reason why, right? Like there's steps to it. And so a lot of times when people send me these paragraphs, which again, I got 100 messages Friday, and I'm laughing because I'm like, I'm giving you countless opportunities to speak with me via the live streams and via the specials we do, so that you can structure your time. There's no one who give free time out and free answers out. Now, many people say, yes, they do, Erica. There's lots of people doing that. Yes, but has it helped you? Has it helped you? When you don't put any skin in the game, when you don't put any money into the game to get yourself in a better position, you usually don't improve. And the reason you don't improve is because you haven't lost anything. You haven't invested anything. So many times I will go right now and Google what should I title certain videos, and it's like how to win big with no investment, how to change careers with no investment, how to get a degree with no investment, how to do stuff with no investment. That's not possible. There has to be some investment from you, some investment, and when you desire it enough, you will make an investment in yourself. It doesn't have to be exactly talking to me. It could be going to Barnes and Noble's an hour every day and reading a couple of books, even though, you know, it's not a library, but reading certain books so you can make the investment in yourself. And that's just the deal is, right? Real talk, yeah. You gotta let go of some things. And some things could easily mean, and I'm be careful, a lot of people are like, you know, how can I get these fast ladies, these fast money, these fast... It's you. It's like, I know several guys who are nice guys, good people, and there's no confidence there. Nobody wants to buy into a package that is not confident. Do you know what I'm saying? Nobody wants to buy into a deal where it's like, well, you're not even confident in you, so why would I sign on to something that is lacking confidence? There's all times of space for being, humble and nice and all that good stuff. But you got to have confidence in you for people to even make the investment. So, again, invest in yourself. It's a little crazy. Do some research. You should have a balanced table. I should not be still seeing stories of people who've lost 10 and 20 and $30,000 and $170,000 from Bitcoin. There's no reason I should be seeing that still. That's a lack of you putting the investment in, right? Because if you actually did the research, at some point, let me put it this way. If I had $5,000, I'm not going to put all $5,000 in the Bitcoin. That's gambling. That's Russian roulette. Do you see what I'm saying? That's not even like wise investing. If I have $5,000, I'm going to go, okay, if I was going to do Bitcoin, which you don't even know, it's like you're just hyped off the people doing the Lambos, which I'm going to make a comment on what Peter Schmidt said. I'd take $1,000, put it into Lending Club, right? I'd take another $1,000, put it with some Todd Capital. I'd take another $1,000, monthly dividend stocks. And then I'd take another $1,000 and put it in precious metals, something I could turn around and return, right? If I had to sell, right? It could be a gun, could be silver, could be gold. Any of those could fit precious metals. And number 5, then I'd do Bitcoin. Even if I didn't know all that I know now, I would not sink a whole $5,000 into something that I was uncertain of and I couldn't touch and see. I wouldn't do that. And Peter Smith said something Schiff, said something very powerful. People see these Lambos and think, I've got to get in there. It creates a frenzy of all these people like, oh, these Bitcoin millionaires, they got Lambos. And he said something very powerful. You're going to see a bunch of Lambos being returned because they can't afford the insurance premiums. See, it's not the Lambo. It's not the Lambo that's breaking them, because you can lease these vehicles and these cars for the $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month. Some of these exotic cars you can get for very low, leasing a month. But what it is the insurance. The insurance is $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 because it's such a powerful car and such an expensive luxury car that if you're under 30 trying to drive it, and especially if you're under 25 trying to drive a Lambo, the insurance is going to be so high, these people are going to lose the cars, not because the car, they can't afford to lease the car anymore or keep the car anymore. It's because the insurance, they can't afford the insurance. They're just going to be parked in their backyard or parked in their garage or parked somewhere because they can't afford the insurance. And people don't realize that's a key to that whole component, is all these Bitcoin people and all these people like, I made all this money online. Check out the timeline for when they get the Lambo. Check it out. See if it lines up with what they're saying. I ain't trying to drive a Lambo. I'm trying to drive my paid off brand new Ford and keep it simple. Get my Tahoe later this year. You got to see where people are really putting this money. Is this money being reinvested in their business? Is this money being reinvested in developing themselves? A great example is Engineer Truth is in Panama, in the Trump Towers, where he could be just hanging out with ladies. He could be, if he wanted to. But he said, yo, 90% of my time here while I've been in Panama has been studying YouTube, studying online trends, studying analytics, and courses. That is the difference between him and most people. They would be on that vacation BSing and not growing, because their whole goal is to get out of work and just chill. Erica, I just want to chill. 3 months into chilling, you're going to be bored as I don't know what. Been there, done that. Had a surgery last year, sat around for a month and a half and was like, I got to get busy. This is boring. I've watched all the shows. I've watched all the TV I can stand. I'm ready to be back active. So therefore I was active. So again, like, there has to be balance to this. Balance. So, the funny thing about Grant Cardone is people are always like, Grant Cardone worked too hard. Grant Cardone is a man who realized at some point he might check out of here. He's only 57. He ain't old. But he's got little children. How do you want your little children to see you? Because little children they have great memories. People remember when your parents are struggling or in poverty or poor or oh my God, we had such a poor childhood. You see grown adults spending thousands of dollars trying to make up for past hurts in their childhood. You see kids buying their moms and their parents and their grandparents all this stuff to make up for where they were lacking as a child. So again, it's powerful how your children see you. Are you striving for anything? Are you just vegging out? If you see a fat kid, 90% of the time you see a fat ass parent. And that's harsh, but that's They're only mimicking what they see. They're only eating what you feed them. They're only getting what you put into them. So when you see these 18 and 20-year-olds who have no kind of sense of I'm being ridiculous on Sunday. When you see these posts, black people, other people, don't kick your kids out of the house at 18, they're not ready. Whose job was it to get them ready? It was your job. It's no one else's job but yours to get them ready. So when people say that, it drives me crazy because I go, well, that means you didn't do your job. That's all that means. That means you didn't do your job. You did not get them ready. You did not invest in them. You did not send them to tutoring when they were little. You didn't do what it takes to make sure that child was ready to leave that house. And you should never be in that position trying to fight on internet talking about your kid wasn't ready. And now they got to move back home. Because guess what? 90% of people, when they move back home, they are not driven. They are not driven to go work more hours or do more things unless there's a timeline on it. I know too many people who've been at their parents' house for 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 years after college. And the debt still isn't paid because, one, they're an adult. And their parents didn't go, hey, are you paying that debt off? There's no accountability. There's just this babying of a grown man and grown women. I could never sit, even though our family does very well and has nice big houses, everybody was like, yo, you can't just be here for free. You need to be productive. I never had to pay any rent to anybody in my family, but I was always told, hey, you got to be productive. And I am very blessed and very lucky to be from a family of such productive people. You know, I've told you guys my sister's had a hair salon since 19, you know, hair business. You know, my nephew seen me have a coffee shop since he was a little kid and see me be productive and have a business and works. And like now my books are at my mom's house. You know, there's always some productivity there. You know, he has a little lawn care business. He's 10 years old. He only cutting 2 people's lawns, but he's got a lawn care business, right? Because what is that kid seeing? It's lack of exposure. Do you see what I'm saying? It's lack of exposure. When people aren't exposed to other opportunities, then it's like they don't know. Like this one lady was posting a comment about she's tired of hearing about kids saying they want to be singers and rappers and dancers and athletes. And I said, well, who are they around? Who in their family is winning? And when I mean winning, happy, productive, taking them on vacations, living the life, taking them to tutoring. No, a lot of people, parents run around talking about, we can't afford that. We're poor. We're broke. We can't do anything. So these kids are looking to a fantasy life instead of saying, wow, mom, you work in HR and you get paid this much a year. Okay, what is that job like? Right? So even when my mom was in the military for 26 years, we would ask her all these questions about the military. What is that like? How do you get paid? What's going on there? And she was very forthcoming with that information. Same thing. We have an aunt that's a nurse, an aunt that's a dental hygienist. We had those people speaking to us and telling us what their job did, how much it paid, and how it was impactful on their life. And when you have these kids saying they want to be rappers and singers and athletes, what that means is you didn't do your job. You didn't take them to museums. You didn't take them to job fairs. You didn't take them to places where they could learn about that. And what happens is people don't want to hear that. No one wants to hear they failed as a parent. No one. Everybody's got plenty of stress. Nobody wants to hear that. But you don't have to. Get you some books. You don't even have to get my books. Get some books. Put some books in your house and let your children see you reading them or suggest they read them. There's so many ways to do this. Do you see what I'm saying? There's so many ways to do this. Okay? All right. Let me see. Erica Nicole said, hello. CJ talking. Thank you. They asked why'd you got your money out of Bitcoin. I mean, unless you want to sit with it for 10 years, take your money and do something else with it. Let's see. Oh no, moved back with my mom. Nah, out since 17, never looked back. This is what happened to me. All I knew was my dad working, mom home. Yeah. And there's a lot of girls who are like, they are now grown women and can't understand how honestly, how some of their husbands want them to work. Like, how come we can't figure this money out as 2 people and I stay home? And a lot of men are like, that's gold digging. And I'm like, dude, that's just a pride in knowing, hey, I make enough that we can do a budget and it makes sense. You know, it's just called leadership. Right? Now, depending on your city and state you live in, you both might need to work. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. So, anyway, did you guys have any questions on this Easter Sunday for our rollout? I'm just having a good time. I got here to my location, but I'm just having a good time because I think it's important for us to talk about some of these things. The Petrodollar, it is what it is. America will still be this beacon of hope. There's still 1,000 people right now coming from Honduras, which Mexico isn't doing anything to stop it, which is going to be interesting, play out at our border, because they know they come to America, even with Donald Trump running around. If they work really hard or work 2 jobs and make their 4 or 5 grand a month, and their husband's making 4 or 5 grand a month, and they're all making moves, like, I'm telling you, I worked at Jason's Deli, and it was 12 Hispanic ladies online from all different countries, and most of them had 1 or 2 houses back at home. So them working for $10 an hour, they didn't give a crap what you thought of them, because they were going to make their money and send their money home. So, and they also partnered up and would buy cars and flip cars. VC, my daughter saw me as a sole parent working multiple jobs, school volunteering as best I could, and exposed her to what I could, and now she works 2 jobs. It is important. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, like, grab her the Smartphone Millionaire book. I mean, grab her the hard copy if you can off Amazon. There's ways she can streamline her money and start loosening up and change that for herself. However she wants to do it, whatever her plan is. I mean, a lot of people don't realize is, like, if you have a paid off car or a low car payment and a low apartment payment, what you need to make it, if your debt ratios are low, is very low. And that's why people are coasting in America, because they're like, well, I only need 3 grand a month, Erica. I only need 4 grand a month to make it, Erica. And it's like, but you need more to invest. Do you see what I'm saying? Khalil Allen, do you believe the dollar may collapse? I don't. It's too many people riding on it. And what do I mean? What do I mean? There's a book called Demographics. You could go check that one out. There's like 3 or 4 books you should check out. How you notice how they build all these apartments and in the middle of the inner cities? Because to go to work, people won't want to pay a lot of gas money to drive to work, so they'll be living in these cities, in these apartments. But people who want to save money will be out in the suburbs, in the rural areas. See how that's going to play out? And the funny thing about it is, it's too many people invested. No, America's still a gold mine. It won't collapse. It's still the shiniest. Like, if you see a bunch of shirts and they all look dirty, America's still the cleanest shirt. Our dollar's still the best shirt there, you know, out of the choose from. Even the BRICS nations have changed. And BRIC nations were Brazil, Russia, India, and China. So, things take time for momentum to shift. There's a lot of pressure on the dollar. Do not discount currency dynamics. You want to make sure it's a strong, active, and passive. Now, here's the thing. Many people will say this. There's a guy, Aaron Cleary. It's like Asshole Consulting. It's very funny. He basically talks about enjoy the decline. Because a lot of people, when they say make America great again, I don't see it as the racial overtones. What I see is a time when the 80s, and there's a lot of black people talking about the 1990s, the feel-good 90s, the feel-good 80s. This is where mom or dad, you know, dad was working at the factory. It was enough for the car. It was enough for the house. It was enough for everybody. And they were blue collar, but they weren't struggling. Now they're older and struggling, and they don't understand because inflation has hit them. Taxes has hit them. Playing up with the Joneses has hit them. Most people, if you find a person who owns their house right out or has a very low mortgage, and they got a paid off car, their stress level is very low. Only thing they're worried about is their medicine. It's very interesting, the dynamic when you talk to somebody who owns their own house and somebody who doesn't. When you start seeing these 80 and 90-year-olds renting apartments and they're stressing about rent, it's because that's no security there. There's no security. None security at all. So, I'm going to read back up here. Revolutionary Fitness Global. It gets better with every generation. The knowledge on how to live life gets passed down. Our child becomes more aware of what they need to be successful. I didn't understand my story until that. Okay, well, yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, here's the thing. When you know better, you do better. But some people don't. Some people know better and still go out. And they move an inch before. Like, 70% of people who are born poor will be poor. Now, but at the same time, 80% of all millionaires in the U.S. are first-time millionaires. You know, the show Blue Collar Millionaires, I keep stressing for y'all to go check it out on CNBC. It's very simple ideals. When I talk about it's easier than ever to make $100,000 a year, if you have a high-ticket item every week, AIE, painting houses, $3 grand every week, 4 deals a month, 12 grand, and you know what I'm saying? You get that, hit those numbers easier. Let me see. Yeah, I don't think South Africa is in the BRIC. Maybe I may be wrong, but last time I checked, it was Brazil, Russia, India, China, and that was because I followed a ton of Brazilian bloggers who were down there just living the life And then that hyperinflation hit, and they were bouncing up out of there to Germany and Florida and you name it. They were bouncing out of Brazil. Again, Tim Ferriss, 4 Hour Work Week, talking about Argentina. I mean, the exchange of the dollar, you know, going down to Argentina, living the life of a boss was like $2,000 a month. If that. It was like $1,500 a month. But now, you know, inflation is more. Erica Nicole, big old facts. Buying my house cash was the best decision ever. Yeah. I mean, you're freed up. I mean, really, your biggest focus is your insurance and maintenance on the house. And a lot of reasons you see older black people want to sell their house, or distressed owners, or older Hispanic people, is like they can't afford the repairs. They let the repairs go along too long. You know, I've met people where I'm like, when's the last time your roof was done? Oh, like 20 years ago. Baby, you got to get that done. Oh, I got a leak over here. Well, when you gonna fix this leak? I ain't got no money. Honey, you got to figure that out way beforehand. Way beforehand. You can't let it get so bad that something's moldy or doesn't work for years. Like, that's crazy. But you'll see those same neighborhoods with a brand new Cadillac, grandpa's retirement Cadillac in it, and you're like, come on, baby. Come on, baby. Don't do it like that. You know, Robinson County's notorious for trailers with brand new Mustangs out front. I mean, it just is what it is. People make a decision, and they decide, car, I don't want the house to be working improper. So anyway. Hey, yeah, Khalil, you know what I mean? So the key here, again, is petrodollar is an issue. Study up on that. Review that. I mean, that's a sign of probably December we may have a recession. But what's the key here? Like I just talked about the crazy Bitcoin story. The guy making $100,000 a year. He can afford to get out of that hole. All he has to do is start investing. He could even partner with somebody, close a deal on a house, and pay for the repairs, and keep it moving. What he needs to do is more cash flow. At this point, when you're at 100, in my mind, if you make 100,000 a year, your goal should be, how do I get to 250 a year? And then it doesn't have to be necessarily salary. How do I make my salary increase to 250? But how do you make the money work for you? How do you make the money work for you? See what I'm saying? So, anyways, you guys, this is Erica, Classic Climb Blog. I left the links up on my last 2 videos for the special, or just my last video. I left it up to the end of the day, and then it's closed out. $99 for the tax lien course special, and $50 for the 1-hour consult. And then tomorrow morning we'll have that cleared off. So it's on the last video. You just click in the description and you can click it. So for sure, I mean, Alvin, of course, the whole thing is having a balanced table. For the guy to have $170,000 in credit card debt because he invested it all in Bitcoin, and now he's like, how do I get out of, you know, what do I do? Do I default on all my credit cards? Dude, I don't even care about your credit cards. They're unsecured debt. What I care about is that salary, and making that salary do something for you. Make that salary work for you. That's the key. Spreading it out into alternative investments. And that means everything. That means gold, silver, guns, ammo, land. Like, keep it stacked. Keep it stacked. Don't just be like, you know what? I'm going to take all my money on Bitcoin. There you go, Erica Nicole. Erica put a brand new roof on, septic tank, 33. It'll last for 20 years. Here's the question. I got a couple big jobs coming up. Should I pay last 18 on my truck or invest? Well, the phone's totally pissed at me. It's gonna cut me off again. So I gotta roll. Mike Polar, there you go. Yes, Erica Nicole, grab the property. That's what I would do. You guys have a great day. Happy Sunday. Later.